Private. When you join the Marine Corps, you start as a private, the absolute bottom of the ladder. This rank has no insignia at all. Your collar is blank. Every recruit who walks into boot camp begins here, regardless of education or background, and it's where you learn what being a Marine actually means. Private First Class. Private First Class sits right above Private and gets marked by a single chevron pointing up. You usually get promoted to PFC after 6 months of service if you're doing your job and staying out of trouble. The responsibilities don't change much from Private, but you get a small pay bump. Lance Corporal. Lance Corporal is where you stop being just another Marine in formation. You get 1 chevron and crossed rifles, and suddenly you're expected to actually lead fire teams and handle day-to-day tasking without someone holding your hand every step of the way. Corporal. Corporal is where you become a real NCO wearing 2 chevrons with crossed rifles underneath. You're leading a fire team now, usually 3 to 4 soldiers, which means you're not just following orders anymore, you're turning them into action and making sure your people execute properly. Sergeant. At Sergeant, you get 3 chevrons and crossed rifles below them. Now you're running an entire squad, usually around 13 Marines, which means you're responsible for multiple fire teams and their leaders. This is where you shift from just leading a small group to actually mentoring other NCOs and planning operations at the squad level. Staff Sergeant. Staff Sergeant sits at E6, marked by 3 chevrons up top, crossed rifles in the middle, and 1 rocker underneath. At this level, you're expected to have solid technical skills and tactical know-how, plus you're often running a platoon or leading a specialized team. Gunnery Sergeant. A gunnery sergeant, or gunny, wears 3 chevrons up, 2 rockers down, and crossed rifles in the middle. They're the company-level technical experts, the ones who know the systems inside and out and advise officers on how things actually work in the field. Master Sergeant. Master Sergeant sits right in the middle of senior enlisted ranks with 3 chevrons up top, 3 rockers on the bottom, and crossed rifles in the center without any extra insignia. They focus on technical expertise in their specific field and handle unit-level administrative work, basically keeping operations running smoothly behind the scenes. First Sergeant. First Sergeant sits at the same pay grade as Master Sergeant, but wears a diamond in the middle of the chevrons. This rank exists specifically to serve as the senior enlisted advisor to company commanders, handling personnel issues and being the voice of the enlisted troops to leadership. Master Gunnery Sergeant. The Master Gunnery Sergeant is one of the 2 top enlisted ranks and serves as the technical expert in their specific job field. They advise commanders on anything related to their specialty, whether that's tanks, communications gear, or logistics. You'll recognize them by the 3 chevrons, crossed rifles, 4 rockers, and a bursting bomb on their sleeve. Sergeant Major. The Sergeant Major wears 3 chevrons up top, crossed rifles in the middle, 4 rockers below, and a star. They serve as the senior enlisted advisor at battalion level or higher, bridging the gap between officers and the troops on the ground. Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. The Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps is the top enlisted Marine. Literally just 1 person holds this job at any given time. This Marine advises the Commandant directly and speaks for all enlisted personnel across the entire Corps on issues like welfare, morale, and training standards. Second Lieutenant. Second Lieutenant is the lowest commissioned officer rank, marked by a single gold bar on the collar. Fresh out of officer candidate school and the basic school, these new officers typically lead a platoon of about 40 Marines. It's their first real test of leadership after training, where they learn to translate classroom tactics into actual command. First Lieutenant shows up as a single silver bar and marks your first real step into management. You're typically the executive officer of a company, basically the second in command who handles logistics and administration, while the captain makes the big calls. Some first lieutenants instead fill specialized staff roles like intelligence or operations officer. Captain. A captain wears 2 silver bars and typically commands a company of around 100 to 200 Marines. This is where you start managing serious numbers of people. You're responsible for multiple platoons and all their equipment, training, and mission execution. It's a sweet spot between hands-on leadership, and actual command authority. Major. A major wears a gold oak leaf and sits right in the middle of field grade officers. Most serve as battalion executive officers handling the administrative side or as operations officers planning missions, though some command specialized units like support companies or training detachments. Lieutenant Colonel. Lieutenant Colonel is a field grade officer rank marked by a silver oak leaf insignia. This rank typically commands battalions ranging from 300 to 1,200 Marines, making them responsible for a significant operational unit. They serve as the bridge between company-level leadership and higher strategic command. Colonel. Colonel is a senior field grade officer rank marked by a silver eagle insignia. Colonels typically command regiments of around 1,000 soldiers or serve as senior staff officers at brigade and division headquarters. At this level, you're responsible for strategic planning and coordinating multiple units in complex operations. Brigadier General. A brigadier general is the lowest ranking general officer wearing a single star. They usually serve as deputy commanders at larger units or assistant division commanders, helping the major general run things day to day. In the Marines, they often command a Marine Expeditionary Brigade, which is around 4,000 troops. Major General. A major general wears 2 stars and usually commands a Marine division, which is around 20,000 Marines, or serves in a senior staff position at Marine Corps headquarters in Washington. This is a big strategic role where you're coordinating entire divisions and advising on Marine Corps policy. Lieutenant General. A lieutenant general is a 3-star officer who commands a Marine Expeditionary Force, which is the largest Marine combat unit, or serves as a deputy commandant overseeing specialized areas like manpower, installations, or aviation. There are only a handful of these positions in the entire Marine Corps. General. General is the highest rank normally achievable in the Marine Corps, marked by 4 stars. Only the commandant and assistant commandant typically hold it, serving as the top 2 leaders of the entire service. These positions require Senate confirmation and represent decades of distinguished service. Warrant Officer 1. Warrant Officer 1 is where technical experts make the jump from enlisted ranks into the warrant officer track. You got here by being really good at a specific job, maybe maintaining helicopters or managing intelligence systems, and now the military wants you leading in that specialty rather than climbing the regular officer ladder. It's a hybrid spot where you're still hands-on with your expertise, but also mentoring and managing others. Chief Warrant Officer 2-5. Chief Warrant Officers from 2 through 5 are the Marine Corps' hardcore technical specialists who've spent decades mastering specific fields like intelligence, maintenance, or communications. They bridge the gap between enlisted expertise and officer leadership, advising commanders on complex technical problems while mentoring junior Marines in their specialty areas.